Hi everyone. I'm going to read the introduction to a Vietnamese fairy tale, which is a version of a story that I've known all my life, the story that we call Chicken Licken. Here's how my introduction goes. On my travels through Vietnam, I once found myself at a sprawling, ramshackle tea house, a day and a half by local bus due south of Hanoi. For much of the afternoon, I took refuge there, scribbling notes in my journal, thinking about my recent encounters and peering into space. As a traveler, I am so often alone, but alone by design. The way I see it, real travel is only ever obtained through solitude. So I was quite satisfied to be in a packed tea house without anyone to talk to. As afternoon eased towards evening, and with the pages of my journal thick with fresh scribbled lines of script, I turned my attention to people perched on stools and on the bare boards. Every last one of them was deep in conversation. Indeed, it was as though they had been ordered on pain of execution to exchange ideas, inspirations, aspirations, and opinions on every possible subject and theme. In other circumstances, I might have felt a twinge of sorrow, as though I was being left out. But for the first time in a long while, I was thankful to be what I was, an observer, privileged to watch from a distance, even though I was in the middle of it all. My mind weighed down with stray thoughts of culture. I closed my journal and signaled to the waiter that I wanted to settle up. In that precise moment, a man approached, a man with a brilliant white beard and a strand of coarse cloth wound tight around his head. Reaching out a hand on his long, slim arm, he introduced himself to me. I didn't catch his name, as it would have appeared rude to have asked for it. A second time, I invited him to sit down. "I've been watching you from over there," he said, motioning to the shadows at the far end of the tea house. "Ah," I replied with slow, long intonation as I tried to gauge what he was after. You're a story man?" he asked. I cocked my head to the side. A story man? Yes, the man beamed, his grin wide and his teeth gleaming. "A story man," he repeated. I shrugged. "I suppose that in some way I am," I said. "I'm a writer, so stories are kind of what I'm all about." A fresh pot of tea was requested. Not the weak third-rate tea I'd been served all afternoon, but a pot of lotus tea so delicious that the scent of it caused my mouth to salivate. In the days that followed, I wished I had never tasted it, because once tasted, all other tea tasted dreadful in comparison. Preening long, waxy fingers through his beard, my new companion revealed random details of his life. He spoke on any number of subjects, apparently eager to impress me. From time to time, he would say something very ordinary, and he would guffaw at the remark for a good long while. I was beginning to wonder what I could provide as a worthy reason to excuse myself, when the man tapped the tip of his thumb to my bare knee. "Tell me one," he said. "Tell me one of what?" "One of the stories." "One of what stories?" "One of the stories that you carry with you on your travels." So seizing the moment, I regaled the stranger with a folk tale from Afghanistan, a story of honour and lost hope. We drank more lotus tea. The man who sat beside me and guffawed a great deal told me something that has stuck in my mind ever since. We have a tradition here in Vietnam, he said, a tradition known to all the storymen, like you. I asked what it was. To return the gift of a story with a gift that is equal. Awkwardly, I shuffled on my stool. No need for a gift, I said. The guffaw came again, louder and more unbridled, as though it had broken through to a new level. I will tell you a story in return, said the man with the brilliant white beard and the strand of coarse cloth wound tight around his head. Relieved, I expressed thanks. Another dark porcelain cup of tea was poured for me, and I listened to the tale that I had relished in another form as a young child long before in England.